The first pose that we're going to practice is Balasana. Let's practice our child's pose. So you want to start on your knees. Feet can be hip distance apart. You want to make sure your joints are stacked. You can bring your toes together if that works for you. All right. So you want to bring your hips back. Spread your arms and bring your forehead to the mat. Few deep breaths here. You want to make sure you point your hips a little bit backwards. Few deep breaths. Breathe into your ribs. Okay. And to come out of this pose, you want to slide the arms back one at a time and come back on all fours. All right. Our next pose that we're going to practice is our easy seat. All right. So we're going to sit with our legs crossed. You know, which one is comfortable for you. So you can have your right leg in the front or you can switch. Right? Some people like to sit up a little higher. I have some props here. I have a blanket you can use, or you can use a bolster. Right? And sometimes it helps with positioning with easy seat. Right? And you just have your legs crossed. Make sure your spine is straight. Don't overextend your spine, but make sure your spine is straight. You can have your hands here. You can have your hands at heart center. Few deep breaths. All right, so our next pose is a standing pose. All right? So we have our chair pose. All right? So let's start out in Balasana. Sorry, let's not start out in Balasana. Let's start out in mountain pose. Feet hip distance apart. Palms can be facing forward. You want to plant your feet, all four corners of your feet. All right? You want to squat down a little bit. If this is not comfortable, you can bring your feet closer together. Squat as if you're sitting in a chair. Let me turn to the side. So you don't want to overextend. You want to have your back straight. Your hips poking out just a little bit. Some people raise their arms. Some people can bring it here. And some people can bring their hands at heart center. Whatever comfortable for you. Whatever's comfortable for you. All right? So this is your chair pose. And you want to slowly rise up out of your chair pose. Okay? Now our next pose is a little more difficult. I personally love doing a revolve half moon. I do usually use a block, but I didn't bring my block with me. You want to make sure that you're nice and warm. You know, there are several ways you can start out in this. I always start mine out in downward dog. So let's start out in downward dog. Pedal the feet out a little bit. Okay? You can use a bolster. You can use a block. A block is easy. All right? So you want to plant your hand, your left hand. Spread your fingers far apart. Turn your left foot towards the front. This leg comes up And you're going to point that foot forward. You're going to turn your gaze up and raise that hand. Again, you can raise up a little bit on your fingertips. And a bolster, in a